What's up, everybody? My name is Amy, and this is the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Put your weight and you're sitting on top of the world. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy. Welcome to my show. Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. If you would humor me for just a minute, I want to send a shout out to my son-in-law, Harley Wolfgang. I love you, son, but we are the champions, my friend, and we'll keep on fighting to the end. We are the champions. The Cowboys are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause the Cowboys kicked the Buccaneers' ass last night. But another one bites the dust. But another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey! Gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. Woo! How about my Cowboys last night? Whipping some Tampa Buccaneers ass. Yeah, I love you too, Boy Horn Betty. But, yeah, my Cowboys kicked you and my son-in-law's Buccaneers asses last night. Woo! So, how's everybody doing today? We are going to talk more about Bryan Kohberger and, just his mindset and, how did we end up here, Bryan Kohberger? How did we end up here? How did we end up with you wanting to murder 4 beautiful college students in Moscow, Idaho? Why? That is the question we all want to know, is why? So I wanted to talk, more about just the mindset of Bryan. I was listening to Dr. Phil the other night, and some of the things that Joseph Scott Morgan said and the other guests that were on Dr. Phil, it just, it really made me want to explore more into the mind of Bryan Kohberger, who is the accused Idaho 4 killer of Kaylee Gonclaves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. And, some of you have been really interested in the INCEL motive. And was Bryan an incel? Also, how Bryan tried to use his knowledge of the criminal justice system, criminology, and his studies in criminology to try and mastermind the perfect crime. Was this just a criminology student who tried to mastermind the perfect crime? Or was Bryan Kohberger's real motive was that he was just an incel? So I'm going to talk more about, this whole incel business. I was not aware of incels. Okay. I'm old school. I'm an old woman. I don't know about all that crazy stuff. I watched an episode of Law and Order SVU. If you know me very well, you know that I'm a big fan of just the Law and Order series, period. I've been watching that show since the 90s. I watched the original Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Criminal Intent, and now the new Law and Order, where Elliot Stabler has come back, Law and Order Organized Crime. But they did an episode about incels on Law and Order SVU. So that is the first time I had ever heard about anything like that. And little did I know, once I started researching into this, because of the possible connection to Bryan Kohberger and the possibility that he himself was an incel, naturally I had to dig more into this subject. Like criminology, I am interested in, the mind of a criminal and what makes these people tick and what makes these people do the things that they do. But unlike Bryan Kohberger, I'm not trying to plan the perfect murder. I'm not trying to use, my desire to learn about the criminal mind and to, commit a crime. So that's the big difference between Bryan and I. I've studied a lot of serial killers and because as I've talked before in a couple of my past live episodes on this case of the Idaho 4, we have to try and understand people, and especially, criminals. We have to try and understand these people to some extent, whether it makes sense to us or not, to try and figure out, why these people do what they do or did what they did. So now let me tell you a little bit about what incels are. Incels are a group of online men who believe that they are somehow genetically disproportioned to be able to attract women. They think that they, just are not, they think they are a breed of an actual breed of people, so to speak. And that they have absolutely no chance in this world to have a sexual relationship with women. They are involuntary celibates. Me, I'm a voluntary celibate. And that's because I choose to be that way. But I have certainly had, sexual and romantic relationships in my past. But these guys, they are awkward. They are, just very socially awkward, and they just, can't seem to hook up with women. They just have a hard time with the ladies. So, excuse me. These guys, and so these guys have formed, a support group, so to speak, and found other incels online. And, one of the things that incels have been sort of labeled like a terrorist group, so to speak. And they adhere to this ideology about, why they are the way they are. And so I want to talk about a little bit about, the black pill, the red pill, and the blue pill, which is big, in the incel world. It's something that stems from The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, and which I have never watched. I'll be honest with you, I've never watched that movie. But they're sort of like a far right. They've been labeled as a far right extremist group. They believe that the red pill ideology is that they believe sex talk again. Yeah. And to you, it's funny you say that, because I have never been the type of person that talks about their sex life publicly. And of course, we aren't talking about my sex life. We're talking about the non-existent sex life of incels. I know you're teasing me, but it's just this is not normally a subject that I even discuss publicly, whether it's somebody else's life or my own. So, these incels, they believe this red pill ideology is where they believe that feminism has, taken over the world, and that it has too much power over men, and male privilege don't exist anymore. Years ago, the standard was that, the man, you get married, The man works, the woman stays at home, she cooks and cleans, and she has children and takes care of the children, and and that is her place in the world. But we've evolved into a different time, and financially, women have had to go to work, strictly for financial reasons, because of inflation. But then you have women who want to go to work, who want to provide, and who want to also show that, hey, you know what, I don't need a man. And I have never been a feminist, so to speak. I was a single mother, so yeah, a time when women had no rights. Exactly. Women couldn't even vote at one point in time. So, but I've never really thought much about feminism or being any kind of extreme feminist or whatever. I was a single mother. I had shitty men in my life. So, I had to go to work. I had to take care of me and my mother and my kids. I didn't have a choice. And, I did it all pretty much without a man. I had boyfriends along the way, but you know what? Half them losers I ended up supporting as well. So, that's all I have to say about that. I did pick up a lot of my skills from a man. I credit my ex-husband and my ex-brother-in-law for, teaching me mechanics and, how to work on a car and stuff and whatnot. But now the blue pill in the world of incels is this world of illusion. Which I kind of have to agree with, so to speak. But that's a whole nother subject. But what truly makes an incel is the black pill ideology. Exactly, OOTU. So agree with you. This black pill ideology is critical to the incel identity. And it is an extension of the red and blue pill ideology to basically summarize an incel as a whole. So it's like, to be a true incel, you have to swallow the black pill, which, swallowing black pills, that makes me think of those old uppers pills that our parents took, called Black Mollies. My mom tells a story about my dad one time when they were, I told y'all I come from a racing family, and they were going to a race in Texas, and my dad took one of those Black Mollies, and when they got to Texas, he just literally passed the hell out. But but anyway, it's a little humor there. And there's this, thing about incels called LDAR, which LDAR, and it stands for lay down and rot. And these are the incels who take, they were speed, who who just, they lay down and rot, and they either commit mass violence, or they take their own lives. And in most cases, once they commit their mass violence, they do take their own lives. There are several recorded, incidences of these incel killers. One of the most popular incel killer is a guy named Elliot Rodger, and he killed a bunch of people in California, and in the incel community, after he committed his crime, he was labeled like, the king of the incels. He was labeled a saint, and therefore he became the hero of incels. Some of you may have heard that there have been a couple of online identities that people believe could have very well possibly been Bryan Kohberger discussing the murders online after the fact. And one of those identities on Facebook was called Papa Roger, which, that, like I said, Elliot Rodger is their daddy, the daddy of the incels. He's the hero. He's the head ramrod of the incels. So how can we relate the possibility that Bryan was indeed an incel, and that he carried out these, and that was the motive behind these 4 brutal murders? In the world of incels, there are women who are referred to as Stacy's, and the men are referred to as Chads. There is also a particular woman in the incel community that is referred to as Becky. If any of y'all are Beyonce fans and you remember when she came out with her Lemonade album, at the end of the song Sorry, she says, "You only want me when I'm not there. He better call Becky with the good hair." And that was, oh my God, that blew the internet up. Oh my God, did Jay-Z cheat on Beyonce? Who did he cheat on her with? Who is Becky with the good hair? Oh my God, the Beehive was going nuts. And the woman who actually pretty much wrote the song, Beyonce only, I think, aided in writing that song. She's like, my God, why is everybody making a big deal about this? And Beyonce was kind of thrown for a loop. I could care less if Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, but Becky, according to the woman that wrote the song, Becky is like a side chick. And in the, African American world, women, one of the big issues with them is their coarse hair, and just the bad hair. Hell, Chris Rock did a whole movie on that, on bad hair for African Americans. So basically what that line in that song meant was, you better call Becky the side chick who has the good hair, unlike Beyonce, so to speak. But in the world of incels, Becky is a girl who is less hotter than Stacy. Becky is kind of a plain Jane girl. She thinks that wearing no makeup and messy buns and stuff are that women, that men like that sort of thing. So Becky's are not as hot as Stacy's. So you could definitely apply that to that line in Beyonce's song, "You better call Becky with the good hair," which means you better call the girl that's less hot than Beyonce, but she has the good hair. So, and honestly, the woman that everybody believes Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce with is an Indian woman, a woman who has Indian in her, and she actually is very beautiful, and has a beautiful head of hair. But like I said, I could really care less about that shit because I am not a Beyonce fan. I think she's way overrated. And call that low maintenance? Yeah, definitely. I think Beyonce's way overrated. I'd rather listen to a lot of other people than her. I mean, no, I'm not saying she's a bad singer. I just think she's way overrated. I think there are a lot more Black women who are just as good as if not better than Beyonce. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. But Stacy is a blonde, skinny, fashion accessory, fashionably oriented girl who gets all the attention. All the boys just cling to her. She's spoiled. She's the one that drives the cool car and all that. And she wears the sexy, hot clothes. And she's always with a Chad. And a Chad is pretty much your jock guy, the leader of the football team, the leader of the basketball team or the baseball team, and he is popular, he is gorgeous, he's got muscles, he is just the guy that all the girls want. Whether you be a Stacy or whether you be a Becky, all the girls want the Chads. So now you are blind if you can't see that Kaylee and Maddie are the ideal Stacys. They are the poster girls for what a Stacy is. And I am in no way, do not get it twisted, I am in no way condemning those girls at all. They are beautiful girls. They deserved to live their life however the hell they wanted to. If they wanted to have bleached blonde hair, green hair, purple hair, black hair, streaked hair, or bald, they deserved to live their life the way they wanted to. They deserved to be able to wear fashion accessories. They deserved to be able to wear cute, fashionable clothes, and drive whatever car they damn well pleased. There is no one in this world should determine or have the authority to say that, oh, you have to be this way, you have to be such and such way. You be whoever the hell you want to be, and nobody should fucking kill you for that. That's why these people are being referred to as extremists and terrorists, because that's exactly what they are. You think about these extremist groups that want to kill us Americans, you know, because they have these far extreme religious beliefs that, and ours as Americans don't adhere to theirs, and so they, you know, they want to kill us. Same thing for all these different even American groups that are extremist, you know, that are either far right or far left. So, you know, and they think that what others are doing is wrong, and so therefore they have the right to take our lives and commit these mass shootings and things like that. You know, if you know, it's like the Pulse nightclub shooting. You know, apparently he hated gays. I think the guy was a closet gay and could not accept the fact that he was gay, so he hated himself, and is why the guy that did the Pulse nightclub shooting did what he did. But you know, we've had so many of these mass murders in places. You know, think about Timothy McVeigh. We think about 9/11. You know, which was Osama bin Laden and his extreme beliefs, and you know, just all that. You know, so you know, you have to think that Maddie and Kaylee definitely are Stacy's, what Bryan would consider the ideal Stacy. And incels hate Stacy's. They despise them because they are the highest on the totem pole. They are the ones that they are never, ever going to have a chance at getting. However, the Beckys of the world, they think that, you know, they deserve loving from them too, you know. And you know, a Becky, like I said, is a kind of a plain Jane girl, you know, messy buns and yoga pants and t-shirts and, you know, no makeup, which kind of describes me basically. So would you consider Xana a Becky? Because, you know, when I got to like comparing photos on Instagram of Xana as compared to Maddie and Kaylee's photos, yes, Xana is a beautiful, beautiful girl. She's dark haired. She has brown hair just like me, but she's beautiful. But the one thing I noticed different between Xana and Maddie and Kaylee is that Xana is, you know, a little more reserved. She wears you know, yoga pants or whatever, and she wears she's more sporty is what really stood out about Xana over Maddie and Kaylee. She's the type that's going to wear a football jersey and blue jeans or something on game day, or a cute pair of cut off shorts or something like that, and her hair in a bun or a ponytail or something. She had beautiful long hair, just like Kaylee and Maddie. But you know, she's just a little bit more of a sporty type. So, now I want to talk about Chads. Ethan and Jake, who was Maddie's boyfriend, and of course Jack Decor, who was Kaylee's on and off boyfriend for many, many years. They're, in my opinion, they are the poster boys for Chads. They were all athletic. They were all in some type of sports. They were all in sorority, and not sororities, but you know, my mind just went totally blank. They were in fraternities. I'm sorry. They were all in fraternities, you know, and not everybody makes it into a fraternity. You know, if you lived in the 80s, you watched the movie Revenge of the Nerds, and those guys could not get into any kind of fraternity, so they invented their own fraternity. And so, you know, I don't, Bryan Kohberger, in my opinion, would have, not that he didn't have the grades to get into a fraternity, but he would have never fit in with fraternity guys, so to speak, in my opinion. He did take up boxing when he went on his big change, where he lost all that weight and stuff like that. You know, was that for the purposes of becoming a jock type, so to speak, or was that for the purposes of learning how to beat the hell out of people? I think it's the latter myself. I think he wanted to start training in order to be able to fight and beat the hell out of people, especially the Chads. So I definitely feel that Ethan and Jake and Jack are definitely Chads, so to speak. So I very much feel that this very well could have been an incel killing, so to speak. We know from Bryan's past that he has, you know, problems with the ladies. He was bullied by cheerleaders in school. This girl he had a crush on ended up becoming a head cheerleader. And so he, that's one of the groups, to my understanding, it's the main group of girls that were bullying Bryan so bad was the cheerleaders. Which, you know, I'm not dogging cheerleaders. I've been a cheerleader. I was on, you know, drill team, a pep stepper. But are they bullies? Do they feel like they are above the other girls at school? You better damn well believe they do. And that's, you know, all I'm going to say about that. But yeah. So let's get into talking about masterminding the perfect murder. And, you know, how we got to this point. Now, we don't know if Bryan knew any of these people when he was still in Pennsylvania. I tend to think not. However, there was something that Bullhorn Betty said, and I thought it was crazy at first what she said, but then someone else brought it up to me in my chat the other night, and I was like, you know what? Maybe there's more to this than what I, originally thought. And it may not be. What she said was that she felt like Bryan left Pennsylvania with the intentions of going to Washington and doing this, committing this crime. He may not have left Pennsylvania and went to Washington to kill these 4 particular people, but I do now definitely feel like, yes, he did leave Pennsylvania and go to Washington with the intent of committing this crime against somebody, and somehow or another, once he got to Washington and, Maddie and Kaylee and Xana came onto his radar, they were the victims that he chose. They somehow, became the subject of his desire to kill. So, what she had said I now isn't crazy at all to me. And then, once Bryan gets to Washington, now all 12, 13 or so phone ping, the phone ping information, now all of them are not listed in that probable cause affidavit. But there is one that's listed in that probable cause affidavit from August, where Bryan had been in the King Road area, and when he got back to on his way back to his campus, I believe he got pulled over by campus security. So as of August, I think the reason why they put that in there is because they were able to verify that Bryan was driving a, white Hyundai Elantra as early as August, and he was the sole driver. He was the sole person in that car. So, like I said, they're only trying to establish probable cause to arrest Bryan. So that I believe that's why they put that particular phone ping and whatnot, that particular incident in the probable cause affidavit, so that they could verify that, establish that he started stalking them, and that he was the only one believed to have been stalking them, and the only one believed to have been in this white Hyundai Elantra. Some people are making a big deal about the Elantra and how it turned out to be a 2015. instead of 2011 to 2013. I did a little bit of research on white Hyundai Elantras a few weeks back. I was even going to go to the Hyundai car lot that's close to me. And then once they arrested Bryan, why I didn't, and found that he drove a white Hyundai Elantra, I didn't see any point in it. But I will tell you that when I was looking into just, a little bit of internet research on Hyundai Elantras, they all fucking look alike. Basically, the 2011 up to 2015, 16, and they all pretty much look alike, except for, I believe it's the 2012 model. And the difference is that back window. It just goes straight across, where all of the other ones have that V-check, like upward type back window on them. But they all pretty much kind of look alike, so to speak. There's differences in the like spoilers and things like that. Maybe a little bit different body style, but overall, they all pretty much look alike. So, but let's talk about these 12, 13 times that his phone was pinging at near the King Road house, and all these different hours that they claimed that he was in that area, late hours of the night, early morning hours and such. Bryan was stalking these people. He was definitely stalking these people. And so I was watching JB from WFLA, and Jennifer Coffendorfer, who was a former FBI agent. They had a little thing today on WFLA, and they were discussing the case. And Jennifer said that she definitely felt like that he was surveilling them, so to speak. He was surveilling the house. He was seeing, who was at home at what time, and just different things. And that he was basically staking that house out and watching that house and watching when people come and go. And I'm sure that he was probably in the area when they were having parties and stuff. And, and that was probably just fueling the fire, watching all those beautiful kids having a wonderful time and partying with their friends, just kicking it, not having a care in the world, having fun, something that he didn't do, something that he didn't have the chance at. Did he ever go to one of these parties? He's the only one that's got the answer to that. And anybody who attended any of their parties, if they recall seeing him there, could he have shown up with, a stray that was at one of their parties or something? It's possible. Could he have, just kind of slipped in and just kind of stood over in the corner and observed everybody? Yeah, it's possible. When you say party, you never know who the hell's going to show up. But, I don't, so far, we don't know about anybody that he was like hanging out with, any of his friends, so to speak, that were friends with him, at Washington State University. We've heard from former classmates from high school and things like that, but we, to my knowledge, have not heard from anybody that he was hanging out with or running around with or whatever at Washington State. Now, you can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall hearing from anybody yet that was buddies with him at Washington State University. So, if by all means, please put a link in the comments if you watch this back on replay or whatever. If you do know of any of his so-called buddies that have spoke out from that he went to actual Washington State University with, put those links in the comment section, and so that I can watch them, because I'm not intentionally trying to put out false information like all these haters want to harp at people that they don't like, saying, "You're putting out false information. He did have friends. You're putting out false information. He did go to a party." And get a life, people. Shit. I'm going to bet most on the internet stalk too. Just think about the searches we do and find ourselves oh my God, yes, oh to you. I'm not going to deny that I haven't stalked a few folks, and I've looked up information on people and stuff like that. It was not, when I research somebody, normally it's for a specific reason. And it's because, I'm researching cases, or maybe I'm researching someone, who is the subject of a case or whatever. That's just something that you have to do when you're an internet sleuth. Now, I don't sit around like some people do, trying to find the dirt on people so that I can put it out on the internet. Oh, I found so-and-so's mugshot. She's had a DWI. He's been in jail, blah, 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 blah. I don't do that kind of stuff unless even when it's somebody who is the subject of an investigation, so to speak, such as, let's use Don Wells for an example. Don Wells and his son, they have a criminal track record right here in Arkansas. But I have never once posted that stuff online. Yes, I know about it. Yes, I looked it up. Yes, I went through the Arkansas courts and read all of it, but I didn't post it. Now, but for someone, so to speak, like Don Wells and his family, yeah, that's important to look into the backgrounds of these people to see what they've done, and are they capable of doing something to their child and such things like that. That's perfectly okay in my book, because like I said, you want to know what's been going on in people's lives, so to speak, that got us from there to here. What was going on in the past with Dawn and Candace, so to speak, that got from this point to the disappearance of their child. Could they be capable of doing something to their child or whatever? That, that's called investigating. So, and unfortunately people get investigated, whether they're innocent or guilty, or whether they're have a supporting role in a case or whatever. They get investigated. So hell, I investigated a whole family um, of people, several families actually, of people on one case, and was able to find their connection to each other. I was able to find their connection, the connection between these three families and people, and how they were all connected together. So, that's not anything out of the ordinary. On the sidelines, hello. How are you? Okay, great, great. I'm glad you're listening. And if you enjoy my podcast, please hit the subscribe button and the like button and help me, get into the algorithm. I am a small channel. I'm trying to grow my channel, but I just want, what I really want more than anything is to grow my listeners, is what I'm most interested, in and want to do, is just grow my listeners. Y'all excuse me for 1 second. I have got to let baby Summer in. She's standing here at the door wanting in to eat. Hang on. Come on, sugar. Come on. Hi, honey. Come on. Y'all, she's so cute. I have finally gotten her to where she's not skittish anymore, and gotten her to where she'll actually sleep with me. I kind of forced her several days ago to sleep with me and stay in all night with me, and so now she's like, hey, you know what? This ain't so bad after all. I don't have to be so scared of mama after all and be skittish. And you know what? It's a whole lot warmer in here than it is outside. So, bless her heart. Oh, goodness. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think about this whole incel business? And what do you think? Do y'all think that Bryan was an incel? And do y'all think that he that is the true motive behind behind these killings? Baby Summer meows. She's a small little black and calico cat. You're not going to venture there on this case? Okay, well, it's definitely something to think about. Bryan Kohberger is the only person who knows the truth. Will he talk? Will he tell why he did this? That's all yet to come, of course. But I think it's a very high possibility that this whole incel stuff could very well be the root of the motive behind these killings. Because God forbid, I can't imagine, there's absolute, even if one of them, beat him up, that's not that's not a reason to go back and kill him. Even if one of them turned him down for a date or was rude to him or anything whatsoever, these kids didn't deserve this. There's no excuse for this at all. No excuse. So, it's if this is not the motive behind it, then I damn sure want to know what the motive is, because there's nothing that those kids could have done to warrant this, to warrant what was done to them whatsoever. I don't know where he may have crossed paths with them in order for them to have triggered this whole incel motive, or to have triggered him just to want to hurt them, period. I'm gonna guess most likely the Mad Greek, because you've got the coincidence that Maddie and Xana worked at the Mad Greek. The Mad Greek had a excellent vegan menu. Bryan himself has said, hey, the shopping was better over in Moscow. So, I'm sure he went there and ate and hung out and went to the grocery store or whatever he did, over there in Moscow, which totally makes sense because, I live out in the sticks. I live in a little bitty tiny community. So I have to venture, whether I go to one town, both of my neighboring towns are each 30 miles away from me. So, and one of them I go to is where they have a Walmart, they have Dollar Tree, they have a few restaurants, but like McDonald's, Andy's, Burger King, and a few restaurants, but nothing like what, and that's where I go to get my medical prescriptions, is at that particular Walmart. But I go to the other town to do most everything, because you've got everything that I want to go to there in that town. You've got every restaurant known to man. You've got a huge Dollar Tree, and plus 4 other big Dollar Trees. You've got Goodwill. You've got the Salvation Army. You've got lots of antique stores and junk stores and stuff, because I love to go to those top stores. You've got Michael's, you've got Hobby Lobby, you've got Five Below, you've got Best Buy, you've got the dog and cat, the pet stores and stuff. You've got my mechanic. I've got a mechanic in one town and a mechanic in the other. It just depends on which one is not busy the day I want my car worked on. So, even the medical marijuana store or medical marijuana place is in that town. So everything is there that I need to do, all in one show. Well, please, go back and re-listen to it. If you, I've been talking about incels and the possible connection to, could that have been the motive behind this, and whatnot. And so, and everybody, please hit the thumbs up button and leave your DNA on my like button and subscribe button, and please, share my videos, tell your friends and whatnot, because like I said, I want to grow my listeners, and have a successful podcast, not for monetary gain, because I don't, my channel isn't monetized or anything. True crime is what my passion is, and it has been for over 30 years, ever since my friends were murdered back in 1987. This world chose me. I didn't necessarily choose it. So, and if you haven't watched the documentary about my friends who were murdered back in the 80s and late 80s and early 90s, please go to the playlist here on my channel that's titled Kevin Ives and Don Henry, otherwise known as The Boys on the Tracks. And you can watch that documentary. It's called Obstruction of Justice. And it's an excellent documentary. There's also the episode where that was on Unsolved Mysteries. So is on there. So please, go and watch that, and you can, it'll give you some understanding of what brought me into the world of true crime and becoming an injustice activist. No one has ever been to trial or anything or prison for killing Kevin Ives and Don Henry and Keith Coney and Keith McCaskill and Jordan. The guy that killed Jeff did go to prison, and the woman who helped him is now in prison because she went on to kill 2 other people. One of them being one of my fellow West Memphis 3 activists. One of them was her ex-husband, and the other one was another friend of mine, Jolie Richards. So, yeah, she went on to become a damn, I think it's 3 or more that classify you as a serial killer. So basically, she went on to become an actual serial killer. Her name is Marissa Wright, and she was featured on Snapped. If any of y'all watch that show, Snapped, she was featured on that. If you have access to watch old episodes of Snapped, just Google Snapped Marissa Wright, and there's a bunch of clips from it here on YouTube as well. So yeah, I definitely encourage y'all to go watch that. Yeah, that woman was something else. She was, ugh. Yeah, I've been through some crazy shit in my life and in my past. So, you used to watch Snapped a lot. I love that show. I love that show. You got Snapped, and then Snapped Killer Couples, and just different versions of I watch all them shows. I enjoy watching all them different type shows. I mean, I'm a full-blown true crime junkie. So, full-blown junkie. I found a show. Here recently on Roku, and the world's most evil serial killers. And it has all these different episodes on all tons and tons of different serial killers. The ones that aren't as well known as like Ted Bundy or Richard Ramirez or John Wayne Gacy or Charlie Manson, or the well known ones. It's about a lot of serial killers, different ones. Pluto TV is, I watch a lot of Pluto TV. I was watching Pluto TV on my phone before I ever even got Roku. Like I said, y'all, I'm old school and I am late to the ball game. I'm probably 15 years behind as far as modern technology goes. And online stuff and, things like that. I've been familiar with Reddit and familiar with Lipstick Alley because I did some undercover investigating about something on that a friend of mine asked me to look into, and I had to look into a bunch of stuff that had been posted on Lipstick Alley. So, but like the 4chan and all these online communities where people go and talk, aside from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and all that kind of stuff. These I mean, I'm familiar with the dark web and stuff, but God forbid I have no reason to go to it, for any reason. I met this guy at SpaCon this past year. And if you go and watch my video from SpaCon, I interviewed these two kids. They caught my attention. One of them was carrying a Slipknot lunchbox, and my son-in-law loves Slipknot, and I love Slipknot for that matter, but he's a big Slipknot fan. And so I stopped and talked to these kids and asked them, who is your favorite either villain or your favorite crime-fighting superhero, whether it be real life villains, like serial killers, or whether it be, fictional villains like Dr. Freeze and the Joker and people like that. And so they decided to go with who their, favorite real life villain was. And one of the boys' answers was Jim Jones. And I was like, Jim Jones? Wow, that's an answer I've never heard. But he just thought that it was, not that he condoned, and not that any of us condone what these people do when we say, oh, my favorite serial killer is Eileen Wuornos or Charlie Manson or whoever. It's because it is fascinating to some extent what they accomplished, what they did, and he thought that it was just rather interesting how Jim Jones was able to convince all these people and manipulate all these people to drink the Kool-Aid. So I was like, well, now that I think about it, yeah, I guess you're right, but they had more interest in some of the dark web stuff, and they had an interest in these mafia, like drug lords and stuff, killings, and the kid talked about this one that's called Funky Town, and I looked into that, and then they were talking about guy from Australia, I believe it, yeah, Australia, who has never been caught, and man, they just gave me so much information to look into and things to look into that were, different than what I was normally used to looking into. So I had a really fascinating conversation with these two kids. So if you get a chance and want to watch SpaCon, my SpaCon video, and see my little interview with them, and all, it's really interesting. I got to meet the guy that plays Squidward on SpongeBob SquarePants. He's the voice of Squidward, and so he's on there, and bunch of superheroes. I met Batman and Superman and mermaids, and I met all sorts of cool individuals. So that was a fun experience. I had never been to anything like that, but I tell you, I'd really love to go to Crime Con. They have these things called Crime Con. And I would love to be able to travel to go to some of the. My daughter and son-in-law went to HorrorCon because they're big horror movie buffs. That is what unites them. That is what makes them the perfect couple. They met in college while they were both volunteering in a haunted house in the clown room. So, yeah. Love at first sight. So their whole house is decked out, horror movie stuff. My daughter's beauty room is probably the only beauty room you will ever see that is completely decked out, horror movie themed. She's no Kylie Jenner. So, yeah, definitely. What? Yeah, don't watch me in Wally World because I can't drive. Yeah. I've done a few lives from oh Lord, I run into all sorts of shit when I've done lives in Walmart, running into shelves and racks and all kinds of stuff. They don't make those aisleways wide enough to ride the riding carts through, especially in the clothing section, and the underwear and socks and panties and all that section and bra section. They don't make those aisles wide enough, so it's hard to maneuver around there. And I just, because of my back, I can't walk around in Walmart, and if I'm forced to have to, because there's no riding carts available, I am one pissy ass woman, and I am just mean by the time I leave there. It's not a fun thing for me to have to, not be able to get a riding cart in Walmart. And Lowe's as well. Y'all know how big a Lowe's store is, and I hate going in that store, period. But I do have to go in there sometimes. So, and there's just no way I can walk all over that big ass store at all. So, oh, you love Lowe's? Well, I might love Lowe's too if they ever had the shit I need when I go in there, and if they ever had people in there that know what the heck they're doing, and know, like, if you go in there and ask for a particular item, they even know what in the heck you're talking about. I went in there the other day, well, not the other day, but a couple weeks ago, looking for Eclipse. It's a type of washer. And guy didn't even know what one was, and he had to look it up. And then he's like, "Oh, well, if we have them, they'll be over there in hardware." And that's not the type of customer service that you're supposed to get, especially a woman in a store like that, because women are usually a little less educated in those things. But and sometimes I don't even know the proper name for something. I just happen to know the proper name of that because I was told what to go get, and I was given a picture of what to go get. Otherwise, I'm going in there asking, those thingamabobs that you put on those uh, things that go on those things that look like this and blah, blah, blah. I can't describe something. I don't always have that proper name. Yes, I have bad anxiety too, Renee. Um, and that's another thing about, my trips to Walmart and Lowe's and whatnot is so many people. I can't deal with so many people anymore. I used to be the type. I mean, I worked in a bar, hung out in a bar, for years and years in the 90s, went to concerts, went, all sorts of things. Excuse me, y'all, I'm gonna make a little racket here. And now I can't do it. I can't be in huge crowded places and stuff and especially in Walmart, everybody's in there to get what they got to get, and they have no respect for you, and people are just running over you, especially when you're on a riding cart, and it's like nobody has respect for disabled people no more. It's terrible. And I am not the type of person to cuss out my elders, but this guy popped off to me one day about being on a riding cart, and he was an older gentleman, older than me. And yes, and anxiety is no joke. It's no joke. And let me tell you, panic attacks are no joke. I had them in my sleep, and I thought I was going crazy. I didn't know what was happening to me, but I was having panic attacks in my sleep and doing some crazy shit. And this is when my mother was still alive, because this is back in the mid 90s. And she's like, Amy, you're going to see a doctor. There is something very, very wrong. Because it sort of led to basically daytime paranoia. I had issues to where, it got to the point to where I was too scared to go to sleep. So I started doing different things as far as my sleeping. I would go sleep with my mother. I would stay up all night, and then when she woke up in the morning, I would make her come in the living room and watch me sleep on the couch. And one morning, I had the covers over my head, and she went to try to pull the cover off my head, and I went to screaming bloody murder. And she said, that is it, Amy. There is something very, very wrong, and you need to see a doctor. So yours got better with age. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, Renee. And that is referred to as agoraphobia, the fear of leaving your house. And I believe me, I know people who have agoraphobia, and it's nothing fun at all. And yeah, I understand. Yeah, I have to take certain medications, but God, I've taken so many and different ones, and a lot of them don't even work, because my body has become immune to so much stuff over the years, from years and years of taking them. I started getting treatment way back in the early 1990s. So, and whether it be treatment for anxiety or treatment for not being able to sleep, or pain medicine treatment, for my fibro and different things like that, over the years of taking so much medication, my body has just become immune to stuff and nothing works. Like people, will will chop your head off for a damn Xanax, and Xanax don't do shit for me, Trazodone, Klonopin, these people that are addicts, that they will do whatever it takes to get their hands on that stuff. And I'm like, what is the damn big deal? They don't do shit for me, so it's just crazy. Yours hit you in your 30s. Yeah, mine, hit me in my 20s. That early and to mid 20s, and I went through so much stuff, and people don't realize it, but if you've ever heard of the 27 Club, which includes, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, even Benjamin Keough now, Lisa Marie Presley, who also just passed away. Her son, took his own life at age 27. There's something, behind all that. There really is. And it's that age. It's that, that's when we also have seen so many of these other celebrities go through these breakdowns throughout their 20s. Amanda Bynes, Britney Spears, the list goes on of these people who have gone through these serious mental situations throughout their 20s and their 30s as well. So yeah, they call it the 27 Club, Renee. That's what they call it. You can, it's terrible. Speaking of Lisa Marie Presley, I haven't even talked about, how I felt about her passing away. I have been devastated over it. I was a very big Lisa Marie Presley fan. Her first album that came out, To Whom It May Concern, was just so awesome, and she has a different style of a voice and a different style of music than Elvis, her father. And but I love her. I loved her music. And she put out 2 other albums as well after that. And her cover of Don Henley's Dirty Laundry is my favorite cover of that song. I even dare I say I like it even better than Don Henley. I love Lisa Marie's cover of Dirty Laundry. And she wrote the song Lights Out about her father dying and about, someone turned the lights out in Memphis. That's where her family is buried and gone. And, and now she's taken her place there with them. And the song that she wrote, Still Lovely, about her dad is just heartbreaking. She's talking about, when her dad was still alive, and yeah, it's so sad, but yeah, she was amazing. Her music was amazing, but Lisa had a tough life. Her dad dying and seeing her dad dead, at age 9 years old, it really messed her up. And, her parents, when they divorced, she had two totally different lives with her mother, Priscilla, out in California. And then when she would go home to her dad and, Elvis, and at Graceland, was a whole different ball game. There were no rules at Graceland. But her mother, Priscilla, and her life in California was very strict and structured. So, it really, really messed her up. Your mom's on the run. Uh-oh. Okay. But I just loved her, and, and everything that she went through. She's made a lot of bad choices. She herself has not had good luck with men. When she married Michael Jackson, and I firmly do believe that Michael Jackson loved her. I feel like she has always been his true love, despite what you may think about Michael Jackson. I do believe that she was his one true love that he really, wanted to be with and everything. Did the marriage come at a strange time in Michael's life? Yeah, it did. But Lisa has also admitted that she did fall in love with Michael, and she loved taking care of Michael. And I think that it was Lisa's second chance to take care of her father and to save her father, so to speak, through Michael Jackson. And, once the parasites and the vampires, became a huge problem in their world, in her and Michael's world, it drove a wedge between them, because, Lisa's like, hey, these people are no good. I saw these same vampires and parasites surrounding my dad. And, it caused problems between her and Michael. And that's how they ultimately ended up in divorce. And she wrote the most heartbreaking blog on MySpace when Michael died, and how that she felt that she basically almost felt responsible for his death, even though she was not in his life, because she felt responsible. The person that I failed to save, has died. The person I failed to save. Even though she, was no longer in Michael's life and had no control over anything in Michael's life, she felt responsible, so to speak. But, I am devastated. That was the smartest move both of them did. Yeah. And I wish to God they would have stayed together. I loved them together. I thought they were just so cute together. Those pictures and video footage and stuff of them from Graceland, and the kids all following behind them, and being treated to a day of fun at Neverland. I think I said Graceland, but that video footage and those pictures of them from Neverland, and all the children following them, and who were there to have a wonderful carefree day at Neverland. They're just gorgeous. It's just just sad. I just wish they could have found a way to stay together. And then she marries Nicolas Cage, who I like Nicolas Cage as an actor. I don't know anything about him. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about him as a person and what kind of a person he is. I know that he is a uber Elvis fan, though, and some people have speculated that Lisa Marie was his ultimate Elvis memorabilia, you know. So, and then this Michael Lockwood was a part of her band, has been a part of her band from day one, and but their divorce over these last few years was extremely nasty. I mean, really nasty. And it's when Lisa started taking prescription drugs for for an actual, ailment, and then she herself started battling addiction. And one thing led to another, and then they filed for divorce, and shit got real fucking nasty, real nasty. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. You've been down the rabbit hole on Hollywood? Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down. And look back over decades and decades of drug abuse and the stuff that is done to Hollywood actors and actresses, and how it destroys their life and everything. You know, you can go all the way back to the 30s and 40s and 50s and see all the stuff that Hollywood is a dark place, and a lot of bad stuff has gone down in Hollywood. Sure, I would love to be in a movie, but I don't want the luggage that comes along with Hollywood. I don't. Sure, yeah, it would be great to dress up in beautiful dresses and walk down the red carpet and get awards for best actress and all that kind of stuff and have everyone adore you, but that's not the true reality of Hollywood. Lot of parasites in Hollywood. Lot of parasites. And once you make your way into that place, there are parasites out there just waiting to snatch you up, swallow you whole, and leave you in the gutter when they're done with you. I've seen it happen so many times. Oh yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah, my two favorite actors are uh, Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones, um, followed by Tom Hanks. Those are my top three favorite actors. Actresses, I am more old Hollywood as far as my favorite actresses: Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield, Barbara Stanwyck, Mae West, Ava Gardner. I really love the old Hollywood actresses, so to speak. Of course, there's current actresses I of course like, but as far as favorites. I'm more old Hollywood than I am current Hollywood. You know, I would say one of my more current favorite Hollywood actresses would be Gal Gadot and Michelle Rodriguez, you know, from Fast and Furious. Gal Gadot was also in, you know, Fast and Furious. And, oh, I'm a big Tori Spelling fan. A lot of people can't stand Tori Spelling, but I have loved Tori Spelling, you know, from day one. Big 90210 fan. And she was always my favorite. Donna was my favorite. So, you know, think what you want to about Tori Spelling, but I love her and always have. So, you know, now everybody's, it's so much reality shows that it's hard to choose, you know. But like I said, my current favorite people, what I would have to say would be, you know, definitely Michelle Rodriguez. I love Letty Ortiz, her character, and I mean, I think Gal Gadot is just absolutely beautiful. So, you like Tori? Oh, good, Renee. You and I are going to be great friends. I have all of Tori's books. I have an autographed book by Tori. Yeah, me too. Hey, Charlie Kate, you love Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Oh my gosh, yes, definitely. Say hello to my little friend. A friend of mine who lives in California got one of Tori's books autographed for me. She had a book signing, and so she went and got the book autographed and stuff for me, and I just love it. Just absolutely love it. It's for somebody to do something like that for you, you know, it's just more meaningful than any $1 million could buy for me. It's not about how much something costs. It's the thought behind something that somebody does for you is what means the most to me. So Charlie likes the bad boys. Of course he does. Of course he does. He likes Griff, for Christ's sake, you know. Of course he likes the bad boys. Oh God, yes, Scarface and Godfather. I'm going to rule the world, chica. I'd love to have that house. The house that they filmed was it Scarface or Godfather? I think it's the Scarface house. But that with that big ass fountain and all that, oh my God, that place is gorgeous. You gotta love Mr. Green. I know it. I know it. Hey, I like bad boys too. You know, for me, my choice in guys is either, you know, big burly rednecks or dirty rocker boys. So it's like there's no in between for me, you know. You either got to be a dirty rocker boy with you know, serious baggage that you can write some hellacious songs like Nikki Sixx and Kurt Cobain, Axl Rose, which Axl Rose is ugly as homemade sin now, but you know, but yeah, I think Nikki Sixx is one of the most brilliant songwriters, and how he has evolved through his years with Motley Crue into his years with his new band 6 a.m. that have done all of the albums to his books that he's written is, oh my gosh, brilliant, brilliant songwriting. So, and someone once told me that I had some sort of weird obsession with heroin addicts because all my favorite musicians were heroin addicts. So, yes, he is. He's a very smart man, very smart man. Smart businessman, too. So, Charlie, have you looked too much? Oh, Jamie did a live talking about this morning. Name drop Charlie. Charlie is famous. Oh my God. You got name dropped by the king of the streets. Woo, Charlie, you're in, oh my God, you're in a category all your own now. How, oh my gosh, the king of the streets. Woo, that is something else. You is famous on YouTube now. What is it, Peter, that Peter guy that always talks, he's obsessed with James Charles and oh, that other makeup guy that my daughter likes so well. His name won't come. Jeffrey. Jeffrey. That's all he does is he's a gossip channel, but his name is Peter Mon, and he has this little shtick that how he introduces his videos is, I'm YouTube famous. So, oh yeah, I don't know if dude's ever mentioned my name before because I don't go on his channel. I can't stand him. I can't stand to listen to him talk. His voice is worse than mine. I mean, he sounds like me when I'm about 3 sheets to the wind drunk, is what he sounds like when he talks. Yeah, you goddamn Grant, you son of a bitch, you. Oh, I can't stand that. He only did it to trigger Griff. Oh, well, yeah, that's what he lives for. That's what all these haters live for. That's their world revolves around triggering the people that they hate. They are obsessed. And it's like, okay, you want to say, oh, so and so's a e-beggar, and so is loud and obnoxious, and so is making money off these dead kids, and they're doing this, and they're tragedy pimps, and blah 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 blah. But it's the very ones who don't get out and do shit. In these cases, they just sit at home behind a computer and talk crap about the people that they hate. So, it's not these people with that have got the problem. It's not the ones that they're hating on, like Griff or Molly or Betty or JLR or anybody else like that. It's the ones that sit and talk shit that have got the problem. They are obsessed. And it's like, God dang, do you, and Ernie Shell, my Lord, people are obsessed with Ernie Shell, and they are not going to stop till they destroy him. I worry about Ernie. I mean, I don't know Ernie very well. I don't get into all his escapades and all that stuff, but I very, yeah, definitely. But I worry about Ernie, because so many of these people out here are not going to stop until they destroy him. And, you know, like people like Molly and Bullhorn Betty and all them, you know, they can hold their own. They can hold their own. But Ernie, I worry about. I really do. Because, you know, and it's just, but, you know, when you're so obsessed with hurting someone, hating someone, destroying someone, trying to get their YouTube channel taken down and all that kind of stuff, you're the one with the problem, not those people. I mean, you need some tissues for your issues. You need therapy. You need the guidance counselor. Seriously. Yes. That, I mean, you know, I have not ever even been any kind of focus of any haters until I was on panel early one morning talking to Molly Golightly, and her haters decided to oh, well, who is this girl? And then it's just like, wow, you know, I mean, they started threatening me and was wanted to come after me, and oh, well, we've got this girl now on our radar, and we're going to show you done fucked up. You done fucked up talking to Molly. You done fucked up saying this and doing this and blah, 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 blah. Like, who are you people? The YouTube police? Y'all think y'all own YouTube, run YouTube? Y'all are the YouTube police and can determine who says what? And if you say what they don't like, that you're going to become the target of their hate. Get a life. Grow up. Seriously. Yeah, definitely. It's evil. Then when Ernie fought back, the boys became the victim. Yeah. Well, and this same group, yes, please, everybody, drop channels. Thank you, Charlie, so much. It's that same group, Renee, that hates on Ernie, that got all nasty and pissy at me for what I said. And you know what? To clarify what I said, you know, I'm not victim blaming or victim shaming in any way, but you better believe that Barbara Walters, Oprah, Larry King, Nancy Grace, any of those top journalists would be asking the same damn question. You know, why it took this girl so long to call 911. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Because I'm not victim shaming or victim blaming at all. But yeah, you have to, that is what anybody really wants to know in regards to Dylan Mortensen, is why it took her so long to call 911 and why she didn't call 911 immediately when she sees, you know, a masked intruder in her house. Sure, yeah, she may not have known her friends had just been brutally murdered, you know. But me personally, if I heard my friend in the other room crying, I would go see why she was crying and what was she was upset about. So, you know, that's me. I see a friend or hear a friend crying, and I'm going to say, go to them and say, hey, what's wrong? what happened? You know, what somebody do to you or say to you? And so, you know, that's just my take on it, and that's what everybody's, you know, else's take is on it. It just happens to be people that, you know, they already don't like, you know, so everything that they say and every word that they say is going to be picked apart like, you know, a child picking, you know, peas off their plate and off each other's plate and stuff, you know. It's what it kind of reminds me of. Exactly. Is that how a friend acts? Nope. Sure not. I mean, I am a very observant person, and like I can be on a riding cart in Walmart, and I notice when, like, say a short person is struggling to get something off of the top shelf, you know, even if they're not straining to reach, I just notice it. I just I see them looking up, you know, and I'm tall. So yeah, I will get up off that riding cart and reach that stuff up off the top of the shelf and get it for that person. You know, I had a short grandmother, and I was the one that had to go, you know, that went to her house and decorated for Christmas every year and put up the tree and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't have dare wanted my Mama Ruby to be climbing up on a ladder or whatnot, you know. So of course I love to decorate for Christmas too, and I love my Mama Ruby. So yeah, definitely. But you know, I'm just the type of person that I see you hurt, I hear you crying, or see you crying, or I hear even a something in your voice, you know, that that just tells me something's wrong, something ain't right. You know, I'm gonna ask you, is there something wrong? Is you know, talk to me, tell me what's going on, you know, because that's just me. That's the type of person I am, and I just recognize that kind of thing. So, you know, but yeah, these haters, they seriously need to grow up and get a life. I mean, a bunch of old hags sitting around on a panel, you know, bitching and griping and talking crap and saying horrible things. It, you know, just I've done high school and I don't want to go back. You know, and one of them had the audacity to say about me. They're like, "Oh my, you sure aren't. You call yourself a true crime podcast, honey? You ain't gonna make it in this world of true crime, bitch. I was true crime before true crime was cool. Okay, I've got an education that you know nothing about. You don't know what I've done, who I am, what I've been through, what I've, you know, and what makes you a true crime channel? You're reporting on the crimes of Ernie Shell or his brother or Benny Keys or whoever you decide is the focus of your hate. You know, yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy. That's what you call yourself, a true crime channel? It's insane. It's truly insane. You know, and sitting around and talking about the stuff that Ruby, you're a breath of fresh air. Thank you. I have to go start then. Okay, definitely. Well, I'm probably going to be winding up here pretty soon. I'm at the 2-hour mark. And yeah, where has humanity gone? Straight to hell is where it's gone. Straight to hell. Well, thanks so much. I enjoyed having you here, Renee, and definitely come back. We have very intellectual and intuitive conversations here, and we talk about real true crime. You know, I'm not talking about the crimes of 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 Bullhorn Betty yelling outside of somebody's house, you know, because they don't like it. That's not a crime. Okay. That's not a crime. You may not like it or approve of it, but it ain't a crime. What Bryan Laundry did was a crime. Not what Betty did was a crime, or Molly, or any of those people. That's not a crime, but that's what they choose to put their focus on. So, so it's just silly. And, you're right. A lot of this spun out of the Summerwells case. And it was already going on when I came to YouTube, because I started on Spotify, and I was, encouraged by Gabby Petito herself, the legacy of Gabby Petito, to venture into and do my own podcast. I had been a show legend on the Talk to Q radio show for several years and participated on that show. I had a lot of radio DJ friends throughout the 90s, and would go hang out at the radio stations with them, and do radio stuff and whatnot. One night, was it me and Joe Friday, or was it, I can't remember who it was. It was either me and, I don't think it was Sharp. I'm thinking it was maybe me and Joe Friday one night. We wanted to see if Domino's would bring us a free pizza to the studio. And we called them, and they damn sure did. They brought us a free pizza to the studio. And that was the first time I'd ever had a Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza. And after that, I was hooked. I loved Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza. They are so good. So good. Being immoral and illegal are totally different. Exactly. Yeah, you may not approve of someone's actions, but their actions aren't illegal. They may just not fit your type of way of doing things or whatever. So, but so silly. And, hey, what do they say? All publicity is good publicity. Bad publicity is good publicity. If you ain't got haters, you ain't doing something right. So that's what I have to say on the sideline. Oh yeah, you like Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza? Yes, me too. I wish I could get them down here at the store, where I get a lot of food. They have this store, of course, they have their own menu. They make hamburgers and sandwiches, and God, they've got club sandwiches that are out of this world, and BLTs and cheeseburgers and mushroom burgers and whatnot. But they also do the Hunts Brothers pizzas, which are so good. But they don't have pineapple, so I hate it. Yes. you know, that's me. I have more peace, love, and rock and roll. You know, that's me. I'm that hippie type person. Let's all sit and sing Kumbaya, you know, around a campfire, smoking weed and having a good time and getting along. It takes way more energy to hate somebody than it does to love somebody. A hell of a lot more energy to hate than to love, in my opinion. So, you know, um, but without controversy, you know, where would we be? We don't, you know, it's one thing to not have the same opinions or agree on the same things, but when you take it to a whole nother level that, oh my God, if you don't agree with me, then you're the problem. You're what's wrong with the world. And, you know, that's what our problem is in this world. And you know how politics has pushed us so far away from each other. It's because they're all fighting to be the alpha dog up there at the White House. You know, they're all fighting to be the alpha dog. They're all fighting to say, I'm right and you're wrong, instead of let's talk about this and discuss this and figure out what's best for everybody. That's the problem. And, you know, in the world of politics, people hate fence riders like me. People hate people who want to find the solution that's best for everyone involved, because that's not their agenda. That's not their agenda at all. The peacefulness of your toes in the sand, looking up. Let me tell you, my best times are spent when I'm laying on my raft in the lake, and especially when the lake is really calm and there's not, you know, I'm not a whole lot of waves and whatnot. Just lay there and look up at the sky and think and imagine and wonder about stuff, you know, that is just, you know, that those are the most peaceful times that I spend, you know, is just lying still on my raft in the middle of the lake, you know, looking up at the sky and wondering, you know, about heaven, wondering about what else is out there. Is there another life out there? Is there another species out there? As you know, um, what is the true meaning of life, and why am I here, and what is my purpose? And you know, those things like that are the things that you know think about, or that I think about, you know, when I'm lying out there on my raft and laying there in the peace and quiet and, you know, hearing nothing. You know, especially in the days where you're a loner and you love it too. Exactly. Yeah. Well, you know, I enjoy, you know, being around people, but you know, God forbid, I love my alone time. Definitely. I love my alone time. Um, you know, because the noise, the noise of the world. It don't have to be the noise, that you're actually, a noise like you're actually hearing. It's just like when you log on to Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and just reading people's comments in a chat, where there's a bunch of controversy, um, is noisy. Even though you're not hearing those comments, you're reading them, and they are just visually noisy. Oh my Lord, Bullhorn Betty got the turtle gang stirred up, because she's upset with Dolly at the moment, and that's between her and Dolly, But Lord God, she had the turtle gang stirred up yesterday, and they came out guns a-blazing, swinging. So you're not sure if you love Loner. I've learned to accept it. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you, to you. I'm sort of that way too, but I used to be a very, very sociable person. I was always, at the club in the center of the group and talking to, groups of people and all that kind of stuff. But, throughout the years, you grow up and you decide that she's been on a road. Yeah. Did I see what the other night? Oh, yes, Lord. Well, I can't deal with him. I cannot deal with him, OOTU. I know who you're talking about now. I can't deal with him. I don't know. I think he's just, I'm not knocking him at all for supporting the Wells and being, or anything like that, but there's just sometimes I think he's just a little bit blind, so to speak. Yeah, definitely. Through these, definitely, on the sidelines. I agree with you that you get better socialization in these online groups, and I think that was part of Bryan Kohberger's issues too, is that he didn't have a social life and be able to sit with a group of his friends and talk and tell what was bothering him, or and just chit chat and socialize with a group of people. And so he found solace in these online groups. If you haven't seen my video yet that I did, titled Bryan Kohberger in His Own Words, that's on my community page. And I showed it the other day during my live event. He was in a group forum where he was talking about this visual snow syndrome, and he found a group of people, that apparently suffered from visual snow syndrome as well. And so they, were discussing the things, their thoughts, opinions. How does this affect you? Do you have this experience, that experience? Da 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 da. Sort of the same way we have these discussions about these cases here on YouTube. I suffer from lots of different things. Y'all know I suffer from mental illness and fibromyalgia and different things like that. And nobody can truly understand stuff until they've experienced it or gone through it. So I tend to lurk way more than I chat. Oh, okay. I refuse to what that cause anxiety. Definitely, definitely. Yes, yes. You are always welcome here on the sidelines. I tell you what, between me and Charlie and OOTU and some of the other people that come here on my page, there ain't a damn thing that we haven't experienced or been through or had somebody very close to us experience it or go through it. So, you know, and I'm all about trying to help people through my experiences and what I've been through or am currently going through now. You know, I want to share those experiences with people other than my two kids. You know, I've tried to raise my kids and teach my kids from my mistakes and stuff like that, but there's a whole lot more that I've been through that I feel like I can help other people with. And that's the thing, is that I want to talk to people who have actually experienced something or been through something, whether it be a chronic illness or whether it be SA or coming from a broken home or drug addiction or alcoholism or uh, you know broken marriages, just whatever the subject may be. I want to talk to somebody who's been there and done it and wore the t-shirt out and then sold it at a garage sale. So yes, that is, and maybe if we had more compassion towards other people, we might have a more peaceful place to live. But now it's like everybody just cares about themselves, and it's like these people out here that, there's people out here that know nothing about the world of true crime. And it's they have no idea what's going on out here in the real world. It's like if I ask somebody, so are you familiar with Summer Wells, the little girl that went missing in Tennessee, or are you familiar with Cody Bigsby or Harmony Montgomery case, or are you familiar with the Idaho 4, or Gabby Petito, or just whoever? No, who is that? you know um there's people that, and I don't certainly don't begrudge them. They apparently have decent, good lives, and they go to work every day and come home and they do their things with their families and whatnot. But until true crime knocks on their door and something happens to one of their loved ones, they don't know it exists. Yes, always. And I don't tolerate haters on the sidelines. So any of them that tries to even come in my chat, they will be, blocked automatically. And it's not about I can accept somebody having a different opinion about something, but if you're just here to hate, then I don't have no time for you. You just might as well go on. You're wasting your energy with me. So, yeah, it's all kumbaya over here. The fire might get a little hot, but it's all kumbaya over here. So, but these people don't know this stuff exists. They don't know about these children who are falling through the cracks of CPS and ending up dying. Like, well, we don't know if Summer's, gone, but, like Harmony Montgomery and Oakley Carlson and Jordan Beliveau, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Jordan Beliveau case. It happened a few years ago, but that case, I'm still not over that. I'm still not over that. This child had literally a Ward and June Cleaver foster family, and the biological mother ended up getting him back, and they raised this child from a baby, from the time he was an infant to 3 years old. And then the mother ended up getting him back, and it wasn't but a few months, and she killed him. And she did just like all the other ones. She went and hid him in the woods, and then tried to claim that she had been carjacked, and someone stole her baby, you know, in the car too. Or no, it wasn't carjacking. She took a ride from somebody. She took a ride from somebody, and they beat the hell out of her unconscious, and she woke up, and you know, her child was gone or whatever. But it was all a lie. Her name is Sharice Stinson. If you want to look that case up, Sharice Stinson. She ended from Largo, Florida. She got 50 years. Now, she didn't end up going to trial. She pled guilty, and I guess in a plea bargain probably, and she got 50 years. So yeah, that case broke my heart. Broke my heart. And you know, there's something that's gotta be done, and it's gotta be brought to the attention, to a higher attention of what's going on in the world. I've said this before, that, you know, these politicians go up there to Washington, and they make all these decisions about us and our lives and what we can do with our bodies and all that kind of shit, but they do not know what is really going on out here in the streets. You know, they go by papers, and they go by statistics and things like that. I'm not a statistic. You're not a statistic. These kids are not a statistic. We are real human beings. We are human beings. We're not a statistic. So you've got to get out here and pound the pavement and see what's really going on in order to make fair decisions and what is best for everybody involved. And you know, that's why I think that this whole new thing that's been going on, that we've been seeing these last few years, you know, with these kids falling through the cracks of CPS, and then they're ending up dying. This is an epidemic, and we've got an epidemic on our hands of this shit, and something's got to be done about it. And CPS, whatever you call it in your town or your state or whatever, you know, it's the protection of children, no matter what you call it, DCF or DHS or whatever. It needs to be brought to bigger attention, and they are a government entity. They are, you know, funded by the government. So, and we know these people are underfunded. We know they're understaffed and all that. So, you know, it needs to be brought to the attention of our upper politicians to, and do something about this. But it's going to have to be done, you know, in every state. You know, every state is going to have to get on board with this. It can't just be Arkansas or Florida or Colorado. or whatever. And I don't think, the thing is this is not about being a Republican or a Democrat or anything about this. This is people. I am a person. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a this or a that. I am a human being. And these are human beings. And they deserve to be treated as a human being. And their situation deserves to be treated as a human being. So, but with this being, government funded entity, it's got to be brought to these yahoos up there in Washington. But I don't care what club you belong to, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or a Libertarian or Green Party or Tea Party or Bloc Party. If you can't agree that there is an issue here, then there's something wrong with you. And if you can't agree that something needs to be changed, whether it be, more funding, more workers and more this, then you're sadly just don't need to be in Washington. Because, I don't want to give these people no more money. I don't want to give this group or that group no more money or whatever. Fuck you. Get out of Washington. We don't need you. These are the people we need to get out of Washington. We need to get people who agree. We need to get people who, while we may have differences of opinions, at the end of the day, we had the same goal in mind. So, and that's what, I feel like we all are here, like on YouTube. While we may have differences of opinions, we all had the same goal in mind, and that is justice for these people. That is to find Summer Wells. That is to find the West Boys and to find Cody Bigsby and Oakley Carlson and put the people responsible for who did what to these people in prison where they belong. So, oh yeah, I can cook. Now, Charlie, I can cook. Yeah, we're jumping on another subject, but yes, I can Southern cook. If y'all could have actually heard that whole conversation between me and Molly, it was hilarious because, Molly's from the East Coast and so she was just like, oh my God, because I was talking about making soup and I was talking about black-eyed peas and stuff and the whole, Southern tradition of New Year's Day and all that. And I may as well have been talking Japanese to her because she was like, what? Oh my God. And it was just so funny. I mean, the whole that conversation was hilarious because, she's so different and traditions of, being from two totally different areas of the world and stuff. It was such a funny conversation. But you waited until you raised your kids and they were doing their own lives. Yeah. And my kids, they had their own lives and stuff now, and as well. My youngest daughter and son-in-law are fixing to be moving to Washington, as a matter of fact, and because Harley's getting he's in the Navy, so he's getting transferred, and which I hate because, they just bought their house in Virginia Beach and then they've had to sell it and because they're going to have to move and then they're going to have to be renting again and living in an apartment and all that and everything. And I hate it. But I am looking forward to going out there because me and my daughter have already got some plans made. We are going to the Kurt Cobain's house, both of his houses, as a matter of fact, in Aberdeen, as well as on Lake Washington, where he, took his own life. And we're going to go to the park and to the Memorial Park, which is which is there by the bridge that that he has talked so much about and sang about in the song Something in the Way. He sings about that bridge and that old river and stuff like that, and that's where they have put the memorial park. But the park that was next to his and Courtney's house on Lake Washington, where he spent a lot of time, and where Courtney sat after Kurt died and talked with fans and stuff like that, and where all the fans gathered when Kurt died, is beautiful too. That's where the bench is, where everybody goes and signs the bench and stuff. So I'm excited to go, and I of course would like to take a little road trip over to Idaho and get a feel for the place just like everybody else has done. It's 5 hours away, but but yeah, we've got some plans. So, but not directly involved being so close life. Yeah, me too. What little bit of family I have left outside of my kids, I have not seen or spoke to, God, probably since 2014, maybe 15. Most of my family has passed away. I've got an aunt and uncle and some cousins left. And then on my father's side, I've only got just cousins left. And my cousin on my father's side, when my father passed away, she upset me, and I haven't spoken to her since. And so I don't ever see or talk to that side of my family, very rarely. And I don't see my cousins on my mother's side of the family anymore. We don't have a damn thing. None of us have a damn thing in common. Or should I say, I don't have anything in common with them. They all got stuff in common, but I don't have anything in common with them. And the last time I was around my cousin, Susan, which we are the two girls of the original grandkids. Now, we all went on to have girls, but of the original grandkids, it's all boys except for she and I, the two girls. And so we grew up, really close. But the last time I was with her, it was the most awkward visit you could imagine. It was just awkward as hell, just like two people from two opposite sides of the world trying to talk to each other. And it, just people drift apart, and people have totally different lives and totally different experiences and things like that. And does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts, but that's just the way it is. So Well, it's done warmed up back here in Arkansas, to you. I'm sitting here sweating literally as we speak, but I can't turn the air on because if I do, my air is too loud, and y'all wouldn't be able to hear me over the air conditioning. So I just got the door open and just it's cloudy, but God, it's muggy as hell. Like the humidity is up. It's probably why I'm hurting. You know, this is stupid weather here in Arkansas. The way it goes back and forth so extreme, you know, that's what wreaks so much havoc on my body, is that extreme, you know, weather and barometric pressure change and stuff. It's 43 there. Looks like, yeah, actually it rained here last night, OTU. It wasn't a big downpour or anything, but I think we're supposed to be getting some bad weather in. I need to go actually watch the weather news instead of true crime news for a little bit, and because I heard that I think we're supposed to get some storms and stuff in here in the South, but I think somewhere in the north or wherever they may be getting another blizzard, if I understood it correctly. I don't know. Do y'all know anything, or Charlie, are y'all expecting a snowstorm or what? Because I know we're supposedly supposed to be expecting some like thunderstorms and stuff here in the South, and you know, all this change like this is what causes tornadoes and stuff. This is what causes the destruction here in the South, is these tornadoes and stuff. So I can't believe what's happening out in California. One of the people that I talked to, that I'm friends with in California, they have talked literally a year about how the drought there in California. Now they're being flooded. So I don't know what's really going on. This is what I hated most, are the blizzards, snow, and ice up north. Oh, believe me, yeah, I know. And we get it here in the South too, and it's a mess. And I'm so far out, you know, away from civilization. And even if I just go down here to the little corner store I was talking about earlier, where they have the pizzas and food, it's just it's a bait shop is what it is. It's a little bait shop, little mom and pop grocery store. For me to get there, it's way too far to walk, and this road is so bad, hilly and curvy, that yeah, I'd be lucky to get out of the driveway from here, much less make it to the store alive in my car in one piece. So, oh, you're on the coast. I've got a niece down in Gulf Shores, Alabama, on the coast. And they get some wicked weather down there. Well, y'all, I have really, really enjoyed our conversation. You know, I hope that y'all have enjoyed listening to me ramble and listening to, you know, me talking about this situation with Bryan Kohberger. And because, you know, in order to ever figure this out, it's the why. It's not so much the forensics and stuff of whether he did this or not. It's at the end of the day, it's the why that's so important to me. And right now is what's really important to everybody else. Everybody else wants to know why. Why did he do this? So, you know, and if he didn't do it, you know, he's certainly got some explaining to do, because there's certainly enough probable cause to believe that he did this. So yeah, he's got some explaining to do. Bryan, you got some splaining to do, as Ricky would say to Lucy. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Well, thank you so much, Charlie, and thank you, to you on the sidelines, Renee Marie, everyone who came in the chat. As always, you know, I love talking to y'all. You love the ending video. Oh, you ought to see. You ought to see the one. Did you see the one that I did in the last live? I actually got a copyright claim for that one, because, and I don't know why, because I gave the music person credit for it in the description box like I do everybody else, but I got one of those copyright claims on it for some stupid reason. But it's in my last live, the new one I did with me and Ellie singing to the haters. So but I didn't I can't play it right now because I didn't give credit to the music person, but which copyright claims do not hurt your channel. They don't, you know, it's not the same as a channel strike. So, but still, that's one of those little irritating things, you know. It's like, oh my God, I didn't give credit to somebody's music, and y'all gonna boom strike me, you know, boom claim me, whatever, you know. But yet, you know, those hater channels and stuff get away with all the horrible shit that they do. So yeah, I don't know why. Why I got a claim on it, because I did give credit to the person, to the music person in that little clip. So I don't know. I think it's silly. No, once I realized, you know, that I had to do that, you know, to put those credits in my description box, of course, I started doing it, and know that I have to do it now. So I am premium, actually. I am premium to you. I do pay for premium every month. So I don't know why they did it. It's just silly. But like I said, it don't hurt my channel or anything, or it's not like an actual copyright strike. But still, it's irritating, you know. It's like, can't y'all go bug somebody else? You know, can't y'all go bug these people that spread hate and lies and horrific shit about people on, you know, go bother them. I'm not doing anything wrong. And we're all prone to make a mistake, you know. Oh, I forgot to give so-and-so credit. Big whoop-de-deal, you know. I didn't hurt nobody. So, you know, but anyway, I've really enjoyed this so much. And if you weren't here in the beginning, please go back and watch everything on replay and hear me, you know, talk about the incel stuff and whatnot. And thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you do love true crime and want to hear about actual true crime, please hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to all, and like these videos and help me get into the algorithm where more people, get a chance to hear my podcast and whatnot. And as always, when you go out into this world, our motto here at Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast is to be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
From the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. If you love all things true crime, then please hit the subscribe button down below and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And please give us a thumbs up because you're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. True crime, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. You hear?